Hello and welcome to another 9-minute Bible study. Our starting point, Luke chapter 8, and let's look at verse 41. And behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue, and he fell down at Jesus' feet and besought him that he would come into his house. Now, here Jesus had just returned from a trip to the Gadarenes. While in the Gadarenes, Jesus cast the legion of demons out of the man, and he was completely delivered. Now, Jesus comes back, and there's this great multitude of people who's waiting at the dock for Jesus. So is Jairus, the ruler of the local synagogue. Why is he there? Usually, rulers of the local synagogue are not part of the welcoming committee to Jesus. He was there for one reason, verse 42. He had one only daughter of about 12 years of age, and she lay a-dying. He was there for one reason. His daughter, the apple of his eye, the most precious thing that he had. He was there because she was dying, and nothing was going to stop him from getting Jesus to come to his house. We immediately see in a section of the Bible where boldness is going to be the key. We see this man boldly there wanting Jesus to come to his house. Faith means boldness. When one is acting in faith, aggressive faith, there will be boldness. Verse 43, we see another act of boldness. And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any, came from behind and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood staunched or stopped. What do we see here? A woman who for 12 years suffered this issue of blood. The Bible is clear. She went from doctor to doctor to doctor. She went from specialist to specialist to specialist. And what happened? No cure. And as time went on, the amount of money in the checking account began to drop. And then she ran out of money. Then she had no means to go visit a doctor any further. And she thought her hope was gone. Then she heard that Jesus was there, and that those who come to Jesus, they're healed. So what is this woman thinking? If I can just get to Jesus and touch the hem of his garment, I will be healed. Does this woman believe in Jesus? Absolutely. All I got to do is touch the hem of his garment, I will be healed. Does the woman act boldly or aggressively? Let's put it this way. If the woman doesn't act aggressively or boldly, do we even hear about her? In all likelihood, no. Why are we even reading about her in the Bible beyond her being healed? Her aggressive, bold act of faith. She fought through the crowd, and nothing was going to stop her. She was going to receive her healing from Jesus. When we are bold in faith, nothing is going to stop us until we receive what we want from Jesus. At the end of verse 44, what happens? She is healed completely. Verse 45, Jesus said, "Who touched me?" Peter was the one who said, "Master, there's 1,000 people around here. You're being touched by a lot of people, and you want to know who specifically touched you?" But then Jesus said what? "Somebody hath touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me." We're not talking the hustle and bustle, being bumped into by people. Jesus knew somebody touched him with faith to be healed. How did he know? The virtue flowed out of him. He knew this was different. He knew somebody was acting in faith and that they had made a bold move and their faith was rewarded. The woman, she came forward, verse 47. And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and falling down before him. She declared unto him before all the people for what cause she had touched him and how she was healed immediately. Now, what did Jesus say? Shame on you. You shouldn't have done that. You were supposed to wait your turn. No, what did Jesus say? Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace. When one believes, there will be a bold, aggressive act. And what happens when one boldly acts under faith? This woman, she received her healing. So will we. Now Jairus, he's watching all of this, and it would have been easy for him to get upset and bitter. Especially when the messenger came and said, don't bother the master any further. Your daughter is dead. He had every right to be angry and upset. But what does Jesus say in verse 50? Fear not, believe only, and she shall be made whole. Jairus started with an aggressive, bold act of faith. He was there to get Jesus to his house. Now he has a reason to lose his faith, to lose his boldness. What is Jesus saying? Don't fear. Believe only. Do not lose your faith. Now, how do we know he did not lose his faith? Jairus continued to take Jesus to his house. He could have just said, no, it's too late. I know you meant well. But he didn't. Never lose sight that Jairus keeps his focus on Jesus. And what is the end result? His daughter is raised from the dead. Why? Because it goes back to a faith in Jesus, which leads to a bold act, which leads to the miracle people are expecting. Now, what do we see here? We saw the woman with the issue of blood. We saw Jairus. Both acted boldly in their faith. What was the end result of their action? They both received what they wanted from the Lord. As we have been looking through Luke, what have we seen? Those who have faith will aggressively and boldly act on that faith. And when one acts boldly and aggressively on their faith, what's going to happen? They will receive for Jesus. We believe in Jesus. We boldly act on that faith. And what happens? We will receive from Jesus. And we will pick up with this in our next lesson.